ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतम् भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंशीर्षिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। सर्वोपप्लवरहित प्रज्ञानघनः प्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि। ॐ नारायणं पद्मभवं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपदं महान्तं गोविन्दयोगेन्द्रमथास्य शिष्यम् श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमथास्य पद्मपादं च हस्तामलकं च शिष्यम् तं तोटकं वार्तिककारं शिवानन्दं ब्रह्मानन्दं श्री अरविन्दम् अन्यान् अस्मद्गुरून् सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं कर्वावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। Corona worship. It is a coincidence. We are almost at the anniversary of what was declared as Corona Kal. The past 1 year, lot has happened. It has been gone through. People have analyzed it. There have been discussions. There have been exchanges of viewpoints. All that has happened. But here we are to look into something which strengthens our core beliefs. First of all is our core belief that God is perfect. There is a divine perfection. We invoke grace, we invoke devotion, we invoke an unbiased attitude to stay connected with this core belief that God is perfect. Normally, when we are in a state of good health, somebody has just come out with a checkup, a battery of tests have been gone through, and all the reports have come out normal. Another person comes and asks him, "How is your health?" He says, "Perfect." Somebody has appeared for an interview, got his coveted job, an appointment letter, there's a celebration around, and then somebody comes and asks, "How is life?" He says, "Perfect." So that aspect of perfection we have commonly used. But in the process, what has got missed? That's the topic we should discuss, ponder now. It calls for dissection of unpleasantness, dissection of unfairness, seeming unfairness, examination of the so-called injustice. Where would you place them? If God is perfect, God makes everything, gives everything, what happens to the perfection when there is an expression of unfairness or unpleasantness? So then we have to move and examine the reality. The reality dimension which we have unknowingly missed, ignored, not taken as seriously as we should have. When there is an individual is a part of a society, and there are dynamics of the society. People are interacting. People are getting into relationships. What is simultaneously taking place is a evolution. The human being, human mind is simultaneously getting evolved. Why a society is behaving in a different way, why the individuals are interacting in a peculiar way, why are there trends and fashions, and then these trends and fashions and beliefs and customs, they change. Who controls that change? How does that change happen? That all is a dimension of evolution. So evolution is a reality. When I am living as an individual, I am also an expression of an evolution. In and through each one of us, evolution is manifesting. We have studied history and we have talked about the past kings and kingdoms and wars, but what about now? Similarly, if you examine and somebody asks you your residence, you say you stay in Delhi. Delhi is part of India. India is part of Earth. But then Earth is a planet which is part of a solar system. That solar system is around a star called Sun. And there are millions of such solar systems. They are part of a galaxy. And there are millions of such galaxies. All that exists all the time. So what we have done is, when we have said that my address is Delhi, it is an inadequate, incomplete expression of the reality for which we suffer. For functional reason, we may have to write Delhi, but there has to be awareness that I'm part of a cosmos in which there are billions of galaxies, in which there are billions of stars, of which there is one small star, of which there is a planet, and in that planet there is a location. In Delhi I am. So this Delhi belongs to a cosmos. It's a truth. So if you want to understand perfection and if you want to affirm that God is perfect, you have to bring to your mind this reality that you are part of a cosmos which is evolving all the time. You travel by aeroplane or a train or a bus, and then there is a driver. And there's a good driver is who drives accident free, safe driver. For small little journey, we conceive of a safe driver. How is it that you can talk of a driver of a cosmos, a driver driving a cosmic evolution, and not a safe driver? Have you heard of an accident in the cosmos where one galaxy collided with another, one star colliding with another, one planet another, or the nature of sun changes, the mood of the sun changes, or the gravity of the earth changes? We are living in a world of fluxes. There is always a flux in the share market. There is a open economy, and then there are petrol price changes every other day, international forces. Everything changes, but only the gravity doesn't change. Our great-grandfather used a value of gravity, and we are also using the same value. Whereas the value of rupee, the value of dollar, everything is changed. The inflation doesn't affect the gravity. So, there is a flawless driving of cosmic evolution happening. That is called perfection. Flawless driving of cosmic evolution is perfection. And that perfection is an attribute of the divine. There is a pulse which you feel in a human being. There is a heart which throbs. So let us allow this divine perfection also to have a throb. It is a throbbing divine perfection, and the throb of the divine is the cosmic evolution. It is like that. The divine cannot but be like that. It is the nature of the divine. Like you don't want to change your nature. You say, this is how I am. You accept it or reject it. I am what I am. Similarly, divine says, this is how I am. If I throb, if my heart throbs, what appears as a cosmic evolution. Then it takes us to the next stage called a cosmic plan. We plan our life, we plan our shopping, we plan our purchases, everything. Similarly, human mind tries to rationalize, tries to see the reason. If divine is perfect, why? What happens through perfection which cannot happen through imperfection? Why divine could not choose to be imperfect, and why divine chose to be perfect? You try to take some examples like a tree gives oxygen, and oxygen we breathe, and there is a wind which blows, and there are seasons which bring about change. And then you say this is natural law, that is a biological law, and so through that you try to figure out some idea about the higher forces and just leave it at that. But when there is a cosmic plan, then we have to move from a line to a spectrum. There is a whole range of the divine perfection. There is a whole range in the cosmos, and there is a whole width of evolution. In that, there are mechanisms of checks and balances. If there is a drought, after a couple of years, there is a flood. If there is a lot of materialism, goods, objects, then there is an earthquake or there is a cyclone. Checks and balances. Probably, it is my personal view, probably past few decades, in that divine perfection, in that cosmic evolution, there happened to be over sophistication, and perhaps a dose of simplicity was necessary to manifest as part of a cosmic plan of the divine perfection. After all, divine has to worry about eternity. We have to worry about our lifespan, or few statesmen among us worry about few generations, but the divine has to worry about eternity and the whole cosmos to look after. It has not only to manage the resources for the eternity, it has to plan for a speed of evolution, relocation of the available elements. From that perspective, when there happens to be a over sophistication, over complication, there was the appearance of corona. A corona is a dose of simplicity given by the divine as a check and balance in the cosmic evolution. There was a lot of movement, so there had to be a lockdown. There was a lot of indulgence, so there had to be little discipline. There was a lot of spending and all that, so there had to be quietness, introspection. If we invest a faith in this line of reasoning, then we try to understand this cosmic plan, but it takes us to a dimension which is almost infinite. And the instrument that we have is a limited brain or an intellect. So there is a contradiction. A limited brain and a limited intellect trying to understand a unlimited, infinite, divine perfection. So by your starting is, you know that you are on a weak wicket. You will not reach. You can't understand infinite using a finite instrument. Then we have to examine something else that we have with us, where we might be able to decipher the workings of the divine perfection. And that is called Shraddha. Shraddha means reverential faith. So we have to exercise this reverential faith in the divine perfection, who is executing a cosmic plan, who is bringing about the checks, and who is delivering this dose of simplicity to an overcomplicated globe. And in that sense, the corona has to be seen as a manifest divine energy. How else you would justify where, when in the history the whole mankind is prostrating, bow down, whole globe, temples are closed, churches are closed, mosques are closed, all other places of worship are closed. People are prostrating. How did this happen? We have to use Shraddha. We have to use the Shraddha Chakshu, Shraddha eyes, to see this. Who are we bowing down to? It is the Corona Shakti, Corona Devi, which is not visible to the naked eye, but still it could have an impact. That whole collective wisdom of man was praying. that Shraddha has to be expressed, has to be used effectively, and that takes us to a attitude. We are living in a society where we moved. A lot has happened. We have moved beyond rituals. We have moved beyond terminologies, phrases, words, concepts. We understand that there is something which is inexpressible. And if we use the Shraddha, we move from 2020 to 2021, having examined Corona Shakti, having experience, is almost like a divine avatar happened, and we were in that time. It's just that it is called Corona. That does not take away from it the possibility of it being a divine avatar. Looked at from that perspective, we have a choice. Post 2020, what do we do? Do we just carry on, pass that as a bad dream, or just a dreaded viral epidemic which is over or about to be over, and then carry on as we were in 2019? Or we receive the spirit of that divine avatar, the spirit which it came to deliver to us, a dose of simplicity, a simplicity in attitude, a viveka, a discrimination has to be exercised. And if we choose the latter option of taking a resolve to remember what it has given us, then things are quite different. The world was a selfish world before 2020. But what did this Corona Shakti do? Suddenly people started helping each other. The unknown people, the politicians, the bureaucrats, the policemen were seen carrying the food packets, carrying the medicines, carrying the stores. Unrelated people helping each other. That's the superlative. Here was a disease where a closest member of the family, if the wife is affected with corona, the husband can just hand her over to a so-called hospital full of strangers, and he cannot go to the hospital. What is happening to her? There is a risk, so he has to be isolated. Most of it, all over the world, strangers were looking after these strangers. It is the very same human being who was in 2019, who was self-centered, egoistic, selfish. The same human fabric, totally refurbished. How? Divine avatar was there, is there. It could do that. Isolated, selfish scientific researches, mostly market value. Now they are collaborating, networking, the best collective wisdom of the globe on a common platform, bringing out PPE, ventilators, guidelines, protocols from the WHO, from other networks, same uniform guidelines. And now the vaccine is the best example of a collaborative scientific wisdom. How? The outgoing, spendthrift, traveling human being suddenly in kurta pajama, staying at home, regulated life, introspection, meditation, sattvic diet. How? This has happened in our life. We have all tasted it. We have gone through it. It's not a chaos. It's not a random phenomena. It's not a mere chance. We have to exercise Shraddha, faith, to see and receive this with humility, with gratitude. We have to have some kind of commitment to be true to oneself with this resolve of attitude. A little more simplicity in food, little more simplicity in clothes, little more simplicity at work, socialization, little dose which it came to deliver. In Orthodox texts, there is since we are talking of Corona worship, so the worship is a kind of bhakti. In the bhakti tradition, you have Navveda bhakti, where there are 9 steps mentioned. There is a satsanga, there is a listening to the stories of the divine, singing the praises, chantings, kirtans, self-control, discipline. These are steps if one wants to cultivate bhakti. That is a classical, traditional. But now what has happened to us through this, a new kind of bhakti protocols have happened. Unknowingly, we have to just examine. Phase 1, March 2020, health education. Everybody knows that there is a virus in the world. These are do's and don'ts. You have to be here, you have to be like that, you have to stay, you have to take this precaution. Massive health education. Step 1 of Corona worship or a Corona bhakti yagya in which we have participated. Step 2, lockdown. When you sit for a traditional puja, in a way you are locked down because you are cut off from all other activities. So that traditional happened here as a lockdown. Then there was this isolation, there was this quarantine. Step 3, COVID appropriate behavior, mask, sanitizers, social distance. The worship was such that it required these ingredients which should catch the imagination of the human being who is today. He doesn't want to do the traditional worship, he doesn't want to follow the rituals, he doesn't want to do those things. But just think of it. In past 1 year, how many times we have washed our hands? And that's a standard practice for any worship. You wash your hands. But here we have washed over and over again. Why don't you consider that you have participated in a worship and why you are saying that you are in an epidemic? It's fine. A worship has happened through me. What's wrong in it? Another ingredient of this worship was immune boosters. The whole agenda. In a worship, you have to have a sankalpa that I'm performing this puja for this thing. For good health, for entering a new house or a marriage, or for child's first namkaran. So here was a worship where the sankalpa was immunity. You were using a steam, you were eating giloy, you were eating chavanprash, you were eating gargle, you were what not. But the idea was immune boosting. Nothing wrong in it. To desire wellness is a good sankalpa. But the ingredients chosen were dictated by the Karuna Devi, who somehow said, I will give you immunity if you follow this, as though we can only put it as a theory. And then there were those who actually had the disease. Like if you have a marriage ceremony, the Sat Pheres are only taken by the bride and the groom. Everybody else cannot. They have to just sit. So somebody has to be different. But the whole thing is called marriage ceremony. So similarly, some people had to undergo a disease, either an asymptomatic disease or a mild disease or a severe disease, and then the management was different. But that was an ingredient of the worship. And when you are in that disease, and even otherwise, there were a lot of testing happening. Like a pujari says, वो जो बोला था वो वाला सामग्री आया कि नहीं, घी रखा कि नहीं, मिष्ठान रखा कि नहीं, अच्छा सब आ गया, चलो अब पूजा शुरू करते. तो RT-PCR आ गया कि नहीं, एंटीजन टेस्ट आ गया कि नहीं, स्टीरॉयड का इंजेक्शन लग गया कि नहीं, मैनेजमेंट, ICU, oxygen, ventilator, these are the ingredients of the puja. What's wrong? That doesn't take away from it being declared as a puja. Why a epidemic for us? It's a whole year of puja has happened to us. Let us count our blessings. And finally, when the puja is over, you have a phala, a prasad, the fruit of puja. And here, when you're taking the immunization, the phala is antibody. But it's necessary to mention that when we're talking of a physical entity called antibody, we have also to focus on simultaneously a mental equivalent of antibody, and that is the attitude of simplicity. It is not just your antibody which is going to protect you in the future. It is this simplicity of attitude which is going to protect you. This antibody gives you a promise of 1 year now, but this simplicity is going to take you beyond 1 year. This is the message. This is Corona worship. These are my thoughts for the morning. Thank you. Hari Om. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.